Alrighty, welcome back. Last time we learned that Yulmore is a very evil and terrible place, but we got Alphino back, and we got Alize back a couple episodes before that, and now we've got a quest from the Crystal Exarch. Let's find out what it is. The Lightwardens.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Yes?
Better is not the word I would use. Some lands may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Lightwardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist. Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Lightwarden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
Okay.
I have a feeling Yulmore might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed. Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Okay. Are you sure that eliminating the Wardens will be enough?
Your uncertainty is understandable given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then.
What's going on here?
In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed. At present, the light-drowned realm of the First stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin-Eaters who are to blame for the Light's continued dominance. In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Lightwardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Northrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the First and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Lightwarden to the sword.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
I think I'm track so far.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Lightwardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Hallminster Switch is requesting reinforcements. They say the Sin-Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
That's not good.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
Alright, let's go fight then. Hallminster Switch is in the north of Lakeland, so we had best make haste with our preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crystarium at the crossroads northwest of the Ancestor Gate, and I shall lead you there myself. Let's see. Okay. We'll just teleport. Then we'll fly over to where he is. Through the purple trees. So, welcome to this expansion. Susicle Bringers. Yes, it's the musical expansion. All set? If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly now. Why do you all walk everywhere? I can't be the only one with mounts. This is a long road, dang. Hello. Once the switch is past these gates and through the woods, it is not exactly a near neighbor to the Crystarium, but as we occupy the same region, we've built up something of a cooperative relationship. What can we expect inside, Captain? The town is beset by a swarm unlike any we have seen in recent years. We did our best to evacuate the villagers, but as many as half remain. Judging by the number of eaters present, we have good reason to believe that the Lightwarden leads the attack. How convenient. It seems we'll have a chance to slay a warden sooner than we expected. One does not simply slay a warden. Has no one told you what happens if you defeat one of those fiends? They hold more light inside them than all their underlings put together. It can be struck down, aye, but its essence won't dissipate like the weaker kind. Vile ether will billow outwards and envelop the nearest living being, a reckless young swordswoman perhaps, and turn her into a brand new warden. Ah, but you can leave that particular quandary to us. I must ask that the guards stand down and allow us to engage this leader of eaters alone. Concentrate on the survivors. We must save every life we can. But what if... Understood, my lord. As captain of the guard, however, I will not watch you brave such danger without an escort from our ranks. I insist that I go with you. Very well. Then our warden slaying party shall include myself, the Levieurs, Captain Lena, and last but not least... me! A formidable group indeed. Into Holminster we go. Once we reach the Lightwarden, do not hold back. We strike to kill. It's just telling me I can use NPCs, finally, in dungeons. Form a party and enter Holminster Switch. So, the Exarch can be a tank, a healer, or damage. Alphino's a healer. Alize and Lena are both damage, so I can only take one of them. We'll take both of the twins, and here's where we get into interesting character quirks. Lena is a dancer, but she will not put dance partner on anyone. Alize won't wait for the limit break to fill up to 2 or 3 bars. She'll use it every time it hits 1 bar. And Alphino will prioritize healing Alize over healing anyone else.
Very well. My strength is yours.
Let's give it our all.
Go. And in we go. Cool thing about running it with NPCs is I get all of the loot. The Exarch is not a super aggressive tank. You gotta kind of goad him into pulling the next group of enemies. But he is a super protective tank, in that he'll try to take as many hits from everything else as possible. See, they stop if I stop. The one thing that will slow this down compared to running it with real people is that you can't, unless you are the tank, you can't really get the NPCs to do big pulls. So it'll be slower than the dungeons that we've done in the past. But that's fine. It just means you get to see more of it. Go on to the next group. There is a certain distance that you can stop away from enemies that will make the Exarch actually go in there and attack. I'm just not very good at judging that distance.
Pay me back later.
My thanks.
There are other tanks who are... Oh, Alphino died. And Alice had to resurrect him. What the heck, Alphino? Later on, there are other NPCs that we can go into dungeons with, other tanks who are more aggressive than the Exarch, whose range before they'll dive in at the enemy is further. Alice likes to stand way closer than a red mage needs to. Alphino too is standing closer than the healer needs to stand. But part of their AI, I suppose. Dungeon is just full of Sin Eaters. This first stretch is one of the longest first stretches before a boss in pretty much any dungeon. But it's, you know, the first dungeon of the expansion. They want to show off all the new enemy types. Stuff like that. And this was the they've made it so you can use NPCs in A Realm Reborn and Heavensward now. They just haven't gotten to Stormblood yet. But they this Shadowbringers was initially the first place that you could do that, and so you know, this first dungeon where you can use NPCs, they made long to, you know, show off the new system. We're almost to the first boss, and then the sections after the first boss are not nearly as long as this first stretch. Come on, you weird sin eater bugs. Go. Oh, it's you with the chopped off wing. Come on, how close do I have to get him to pull? There he goes. And he's programmed to do the thing a tank is supposed to do. Just turn the boss away from the party. Even though this one does like to come back into the center.
Focus. Release!
This is one of the first boss fights where you really have a lot of overlapping attacks from the boss. So you have to not only pay attention to where the markers are on the floor, but also what order they were placed. Because sometimes you have to stand in a marker to wait for a different attack to go off, and so that you can get out of that initial one you were standing in. And those big unavoidable attacks that hurt everybody for a sizable chunk are what they call heal checks, which are meant to make sure that the healer is doing their job. There are also things called DPS checks, which are meant for damaged people, to make sure they're doing their job. There we go. We have now killed the thing that killed Tesleen. Oh look, survivors are running away. There's other sin eaters out in the farm fields, just as like set dressing. You know, I'm just gonna pull and hope Alpha keeps me alive. Instead of, you know, waiting for the Exarch to jump in there. One thing the Exarch is good at doing, even though he's not an aggressive tank, is rounding up all of the enemies, like if more show up. Which is helpful, because if he loses track of some or doesn't round up new ones, they typically will attack the healer first. First time I did this, I can't remember if I took the twins or if I brought Lena instead of Alice. I think I still took the twins. Why do you have so many hit points? I mean, I could be using stronger attacks, but I know the boss is coming up, so I'm saving my cooldowns. So that I can open with my attacks with long cooldowns. Tesleen. But we do what we have to. The twins also have a habit of standing next to each other a lot, which is going to hurt them here, because you see the dots over our heads. with the order that Tesleen attacks us in. And if you're standing too close to someone with a dot, or if you're standing too close to someone when they get attacked, you'll take some of their damage. Stack marker on Elfino. At least he knows to come in towards the tank, which is the editor. Get out of all that goop. Having the attacks play out in a specific order when she puts those dots over our heads is meant to make the healer have to cycle through the party and heal each person or shield each person on time.
Focus. Release!
Where are you going with it? Over here? Fourth this time. And the Dancer has a couple of healing abilities. They're not very powerful, but they help out in a pinch. Tesleen used an attack called the Tickler, and I'm not sure I want to know what that is. Oh, Alphino just said, Alice, you've gone pale. She said, I'm fine. We should keep moving. That's a bummer. So this next section, instead of running through like a long area, is just the town square, and then each of those clusters of feathery eggs hatches in turn. I'm gonna use my longer cooldown attack. It'll take longer than 2 minutes, which is its cooldown, to finish off the town square. Go. This group next. on, Sin Eaters. Die. I know you were all just real people like 5 minutes ago, but now this group. I took a lot of damage pulling that group instead of letting the Exarch do it. Almost done. That. This big tail sweep. Go. Just to up this path, we'll be at the boss. Okay, there are some more survivors. That's good, that's good. Not everyone has died. This is the final boss. Oh, Lightwarden Philia. Alright, Graha. So, this boss has a lot of big sweeping attacks, and he'll like chain up enemies. That symbol over the Exarch means to get away from him. So does the one over me. Oh, I got put in chains. Someone better break them so I can get out. Thank you. Okay, so that fist being raised needs me to get to the other side. And it raises the other fist. stack marker on me. Elfino, heal yourself. Okay. He's got this spinny attack roll. Raised fist. I need to get out of the way. I'm completely on the wrong side. No. I've completely mixed that up.
On your feet. My thanks.
Ideally, I would have wanted to be on the other side at the time. He always does both fists, one after the other.
On guard.
Oh, put me in chains again, huh? Break them, please. Thank you.
There'll be nothing left of you but a smoking crater.
Alize just made a bunch of meteors fall on him. That's fun. Ow. Hit us with your laser. Yay! We killed it. Plonk. So, we can zoom back in. Grab our treasure. And leave the dungeon.
It's releasing its ether. Fall back. We cannot let it touch us. Quickly, my lord, we must withdraw.
That will not be necessary, Captain. Though I appreciate your concern. The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor. But now we have a way to contain that corruption.
Oh, you mean me?
The blessing of light, and the hero who wields it now stands before you.
Pretty light.
Behold! The monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
Nighttime. For the first time in 100 years. They're all like, what in the heck is this?
Scar. It can't be.
What's happening?
It's so beautiful.
The sunless sea. The warrior of darkness has come.
Is that what I think it is?
The night sky. As it should be.
Who are you people? You killed a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true. My lord?
How many years have I waited for this moment? For the one possessed of her blessing. For you. You have vanquished the Lightwarden of Lakeland, and for the first time in a century, darkness has returned to the mantle of night. Without the ever-present light to sustain them, the Sin-Eaters will have no choice but to retreat. Yet our victory is far from complete. Though darkness has fallen here, the other wardens yet bask beneath burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains. Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not only for the first, but for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other. But, be that as it may, I concede it was wrong of me to summon you to this fight against your will.
Now you admit it.
I swear, on my life, I will one day atone for that deed. But for the present, I beg you stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the Wardens and restore darkness to the first.
As if I wouldn't. I will become the warrior you need.
On behalf of the first, I offer you my deepest thanks.
I understand there is much at stake here, Exarch, but why do you risk yourself so readily? It must have been a dangerous drain on your ether to summon even one person across the rift.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crystarium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet to be built when you first called forth the Crystal Tower. I'm simply curious to know what prompted you to commit yourself so completely to this particular course.
There are things which we can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them. Forgive me. I fear the events of the day may have taken their toll. Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Sin Eater is defeated.
Yes.
Come then, my warriors of darkness. Let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crystarium.
Hey, Exarch. How quickly you have justified my faith in you. So many lives saved, and the sky itself heralds your success. A single victory in a larger struggle, perhaps, but a momentous one nonetheless. The Warrior of Darkness. Now, as for how we proceed from here. The villagers we evacuated earlier have arrived safely in the Crystarium. They seem to be accepting their situation for the moment. Most folk are far too distracted by the sky to worry about wounds or lost homes. They whisper and wonder if the Warrior of Darkness has come. 'Tis to be expected. Asuka, I must ask a favor of you. Would you be so kind as to conceal your involvement in this endeavor for the time being? Seeing the light recede from Lakeland is a momentous occasion, and many will be swept up in a maelstrom of excitement and confusion. Should you come forth as the legendary Warrior of Darkness, I fear that, no matter how good your intentions, such an appearance would throw the city into disarray. I find myself in agreement with the Exarch, although my concerns are more focused on Yulmore. It may be best if you maintain a low profile until we see how Vothri responds to all this. Okay. My thanks. Though we cannot freely celebrate your success, pray allow your heart to be buoyed by the joy of our citizens, a joy you surely brought into being. Ah, and I must ask the same discretion of you, Catherine. It is my intention to share with our people the tale of a great warrior who stood in defiance of the Sin Eaters. This unnamed champion defeated the Lightwarden and has since departed for parts unknown, yes? As you wish, my lord. Your penchant for mystery is nothing new, and I will encourage folk not to question this either. Although, I expect to be told the whole truth of it one day, about all of you. Okay. With that settled, I shall return to the Crystarium and make an address to the people. These explanations and adjustments will consume much of my time, so pray take the opportunity to rest and recover from your exploits. And to think, you'll not even need to shutter the windows to enjoy a dark and peaceful night's sleep. I must stay behind and coordinate the evacuation of the remaining survivors. And I hesitate to ask after all you've done here today, but could I ask you to pass on a message on your way to the Pendants? Please let Bragi know that we're bringing in a number of injured, and that any restoratives in the markets need to be reserved for the infirmary. Okay. I can tell Bragi that. We should start making our own way back to the Crystarium. Slowly, mind you. It wouldn't do to arrive too soon after the Exarch. I'm staying behind as well. There's something I need to check on in Holminster. We already went through the village top to bottom, Alice. We should take all the chance to rest. We should all take the chance to rest. You included. I knew one of those eaters, and I can't rest. Not now. So please, I wish to be left alone for a while. That means you as well, Oscar. I shall be cross if you try to follow me. Well, we wouldn't want that. I promise to find you later, when I feel myself again. Just you and me then, shall we? Just go to the Crystarium. Find out. Hi, Alphino. Well, the Crystarium seems relatively ordered, wouldn't you say? The Exarch's speech must have been reassuring to hear. On the contrary, there is something jubilant in the air. I have a feeling this night won't be quite as peaceful as our hooded friend predicted. I think I shall take a brief stroll around town before retiring to my chambers. Once you've discharged your duty to Bragi, I suggest you do the same. Take a stroll or go to my chambers. Sleep well, Oscar. I hope untroubled dreams find you and Alice both. Let's go talk to Bragi. Hey, Bragi. Aye, what can I do for you? Looking to buy a lantern, like every other stumbling soul in the city? No, Lena wanted me to pass a message. I see. Well, Captain Lena can rest assured that any potions I spot coming in will be set aside for the wounded. Hang on a moment. If you're carrying messages for the guard, does that mean you were there, then? The Battle of Holminster? Stalwart lass like you might want to pay a visit to the Wandering Stairs. Make yourself known. I'm sure Glennard can introduce you to some interesting opportunities. That is unlocking what they call role quests, which are a series of quests for one set for tanks, one set for healers. Oh, Glennard is going to talk about it. Nice. Drone shot. Motion control shot. Ciela, more beer for table 2, and a couple of pints of mead for table 3 while you're at it. Coming right up. Sorry, we're rushed off our feet this evening, miss. Can I get you anything? Drinks are on the house. No, Bragi wanted me to come say hi? Oh, that Bragi has a twisted sense of humor. Does he? God, to think he'd send you to me at a time like this. First real night in near 100 years, his folk all riled up and then some. What's more, there was that eater business at Holminster Switch. They say a Lightwarden was destroyed without a damn trace, and it was the Warrior of Darkness who did the deed. They say that, huh? I really must apologize. Oh, this is Ciela talking. I really must apologize for Glennard. He's been almost as rowdy as our customers, and that's no small feat. A lot of the regulars are bounty hunters, you see. They mostly go after eaters, and the rumor of the warrior's appearance was the spark to their kindling. You know how the weak eaters are drawn to the strong ones, right? Aye, they swarm like angry bees around a queen. You need look no further than Holminster for proof of that. But attacks on that scale don't happen every day, praised the Blessed Shadow. No, the more common threats are the strays. No one knows why, but every now and again, an eater will leave the pack to prowl alone. Those are the ones you run into on the road if your luck is foul. They're a danger to everyone, so the settlement council puts bounties on their heads, and our bar here is a convenient place for hunters to gather and share information. Seems a few of them were inspired by the warden slaying even more than most. These are the types who have their sights set on the absolute worst of the strays, a class of eaters that have been dubbed the Cardinal Virtues. The Virtues showed up out of nowhere about 3 summers ago, and then historians heard the descriptions given by survivors. Well, apparently they share an appearance with the villains who caused the flood. And if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, they're also reported to be as tough as Lightwardens, not the kind of prey you can take down single-handed. Our virtue hunters have all but given up, but knowing the warrior of darkness is out there has lit a fire in their bellies. Just look at them. That Hume over there with the oversized sword is grandson. He's in it for revenge, wants to recruit a comrade in arms as tenacious as he is. That Mister lad is Lurik. Don't be fooled by those dewy cheeks. He's as hard a hunter as they come. He just lost a partner and seems to be on the lookout for a new one. That's Serig. Word is, he's an expert in magecraft to help. He seeks an expert in magecraft to help fight the virtue he's after. Unless we have Giat, dwarf and drunkard both. Wanted to join forces with a healer, only a healer. Something about needing a mender's wisdom. I've seen my share of competent veterans. You have the look about you. Maybe you should introduce yourself to one of our hunters. Who knows? Together you might even collect the bounty on a cardinal virtue. Now there's a grand idea. Imagine the prestige my bar would earn if we boasted the patronage of a successful virtue hunter. You've gained access to role quests. A separate quest line and story is now available for tank, physical DPS, magical DPS, and healer roles. In order to reach the final stages of the Shadowbringer's main scenario, you must complete at least one role quest line. Speak with Virtue Hunter at the Wandering Stairs to accept the quest offer. I've done all of them, so. But it was in Shadowbringers that instead of every job having its own separate quest line, they started to group them together. On the off chance we get a ghostly visitor, that's where we're going to stop this video for now, so that it doesn't go super long. And next time, we'll go into our room.